I think a really good example of showing how important it is to use Sinner's ults in the correct order can be shown with Baron. So like Shawn ulting first, then Bianca ulting after. Most carries are like that. So if I demonstrate it with Baron, I'm going to ECB on the boss to do damage. You're gonna see how little damage it does. Okay? That's a crit, by the way. It barely does anything. Look at that. It doesn't even pass this tile. Now let me show you a version where she actually does things in the correct order. So I'm gonna buff with LL for the skill damage buff. I'm gonna use Yuiku's ult to buff. I'm gonna use Jelena's super strong ult to buff. And watch this. What a big difference is that from like here to here. That's why it's really important to use buffers in Path to Nowhere. You can't just put 5 DPSs because they're all gonna do like peanut damage, all of them, and you're probably gonna die because you don't have heal, you don't have buffs, they don't have anything. So it's better to just have 1 or 2 really good DPSs and the rest are support units that buff the shit out of them, okay? We're gonna start with Bleed team, okay? So all you want is to make sure Levy is in front of the bosses so they hit him. Because when they hit him, they get a stack of bleed. And then Pepper just has to be hitting the enemy with her basic attacks, and then they will get bleed. Okay? Sumire also just has to hit the boss, they will get bleed. Dreya, they just have to hit the boss will eventually get bleed at some point. Shin is here just to heal so I can ignore a bunch of mechanics and just to buff so you can change her with like more or cab or whatever. Jasmine is here to core break and give more damage to Dreya. So with core break, I'm gonna see here, there's a bunch of mobs with cores, so I'm gonna use Jasmine to break all of them. Okay, you will see it did 1 core break to this enemy on the first hit, and then her ult's gonna spin and it's gonna hit 1 more time. So Jasmine's ult does 2 core breaks, 1 after the other. Now this one at 3 cores, so you still need to break it, so I'm just gonna ult 1 more time. Okay? Just gonna put a bunch of energy down, whatever. I swapped their place just so Dreya can hit everyone. So now Shin's buff is active. I'll explain Shin later in detail. So all I do is just press ult on her, okay? And then I ult with Levy because when Levy has his ult on with this ring around him, he's buffing Dreya's damage. So I see the boss has cores, right? So who's our core breaker? Jasmine. So we just throw Jasmine's ult like a billion times down. If you don't have enough, you can use Sumire as well. Sumire's ult is 4 in a line. So she does 1 break going out, 1 break coming back when she throws her umbrella. So you can see 2. Okay, not enough. We're gonna throw 1 more from Jasmine. Oh, and the boss is core broken. Now you'll see Bleed gets his name because you can see this bleed icon. It's like a blood drop and has 5 on it. So when you see there is 5, it means Dreya can do big damage. So now what you have to do is make sure Levy's ult is on, so either use it or just check the ring is here. Use Jasmine's ECB, the second circle, on the bosses, okay? And then use Dreya's ult. Okay, and then if you need more, you just give her energy, and then you ult again. That's how you play Blade. It's that easy. Okay, next is Arcane Crit. So the main sinners you must have for this are Ying Ying and Jelena. Yuiko is really good, but you can kind of replace her with OwO, but Yuiko is still better, okay? And then after that, you want to go to this tab, the second last one, for Arcanes, and you want to pick someone who does a lot of damage. So here we're going to have Vautour Bleu, and then you want to pick 2 more members of the team. So LL is the best choice for 1, because she's just really good. And then Millie is a pretty good choice if you have her. If not, you can use like Raven, Ascendant Etty, Hecate, Thistle, whatever. It's like you don't even need this 6 member because Arcane Crit is so strong. But this is how you play. Okay? So you see Yuiko has a number next to her name. If she has a number, it means she can ult. So you just let her ult. Okay? Now the goal is you want to use as many spells as you can. Because every time you use a spell, the number goes up. So Yuiko can keep ulting. Ying Ying's ult, you just put it down where there's enemies and it will do damage and it's gonna help her commit murder. Then LL's ult, you just put on your main DPS, which is Vautour Bleu. okay? Jelena's ult, you also put on your main DPS. Again, this Vautour Bleu, okay? Then when melee has ult, you just put it on the boss, and then you can just forget about it. Then what you do now is you just 末路将至. That's all you need to know. Just 末路将至. Just spam Vautour Bleu's ult, okay? So you see enemies with core, 末路将至, okay? You see a lead sitting on the side, minding their own business, you 末路将至. OwO has energy, you give to her, so she can 末路将至more, okay? Now, the boss has revealed cores, so you use your sinners who can break cores to break cores. So for example, Vautour Bleu can do it, or you could use Melee or Raven or whoever is in this slot if you are using a sinner corporate. If not, you just use Vautour Bleu to help you, and then Ying ECB can core break as well. So you just use this, okay? 3 core breaks, and then you just use Vautour Bleu, core break, and then once the boss is core broken and you want to kill the boss, you use Jelena's second ult. This one, okay, the one on the bottom. You use this one, and then you just 末路将至, everything will die. It's that simple. That's how you play Arcane Crit. Let's say you don't have Vautour Bleu, but you have an S5 Wuhuanzi. So you just put her in the same spot, you just do the same thing with her, okay? So again, we use Yuku's ult, and then she just let her standing emoji, you just ignore her, okay? And then we put Jelena's ult onto our main carry, which is Wuhuanzi this time. And then you give LL's buff as well, here. And then you just ult with melee, okay? Just ult with melee, and then you can just ignore it. Then you see mobs with cores, then you just press ult. You just give her energy, you just ult. Okay, just ult. That's it, okay? Oh, the mob is not dying, and you just ult again. See mobs with cores, ult them again. Another mob with more cores, then you just ult. Okay? It's that easy. Oh, you see more mobs, the boss has core review, Ying ult. Okay, I'm not gonna use Melee's ult here. Okay, Wuhuanzi can ult and break everything. Okay. Now, you have to use Jelena's second ult, remember, because you want to kill the boss. Okay? So, just ult. Make sure you don't spam on the same tile for Wuhuanzi. You want to spam on different tiles. Oh, this boss is dead. Okay, let's just kill this one now. Okay? Then if like anyone else has abilities or something, just use it. Like just throw it out. Like that, and then the boss is dead. For Burn Team, your main sinners are basically Yao and Pistol. The last slot, if you're fighting a single boss, then you would prefer to use Yen. But if you're fighting like many mobs, maybe Dark Zone or something, you could use Hestia if you have her. But they clash with each other, so you don't want to use both of them together. Now what you want to do with Yao is you use her ult, right? And then after, like, let's say Pistol has used all her buff, like ECB, to buff attack, then you just eat an ally. Okay, it kills them, and then Yao goes into this state with all these suns around her, and she hits the boss for like a lot of extra damage. But her ult is not finished in this state, okay? The suns will keep spinning, and once you see this completely dark sun, like this one with the black, full round black dot in the middle, basically reach the back of Yao, that's around how long her ult lasts, this empowered state of dealing bonus damage. Anytime during this time, before this thing reaches her back, you can use her ult again, and it does big damage, like that. Okay, and then she will exit the form, there's no more suns, and it's whatever. So her second ult, this, what you can do with it is, it hits the entire 3 rows in front of her, all the way to the end of the map, hits everything. So you can use this to clear mobs. This also does 1 core break damage per hit, has no cooldown, so you can just spam it to clear mobs or to do core break. Okay? The main members of your Weakspot team are Golan, Bianca, and Shawn. So with Golan, she's whatever, she can just stand there. If you need to core break, you can use her ECB. If you don't, just whatever. If she has ult, you can use it. You don't use it, doesn't really matter. It's up to you. What we really care about is Shawn's ult. So what you want is to use Shawn's ult on the boss, and they will get this purple mark. This purple mark is weak spot. Okay. Once you have the purple mark on the boss, you use Bianca's ult. Okay. You don't have to care about mobs or elites or whatever on other parts of the map that's not in this rectangle. You can just ignore it. Because when Bianca is hitting something with purple mark, she will Bluetooth damage and hit everyone else for free. So you can see the mobs are dying for some mysterious reason. That's why. Okay? Just gonna give her a bit more energy. And then the boss is going to get mad. And they're gonna have 2 cores. Okay, so what are we gonna do now? So again, there's no purple mark, right? So we're gonna use Shawn's ult. Okay. And then I'm like, oh, I want to core break the boss. So I'm just gonna use Golan's ECB, core break the boss, and then let Bianca hit the boss. And then she's gonna die. That's how you play a weak spot. Okay, I'm gonna explain Zero and LL a bit more detailed. So at the start of the fight with Zero, you usually want to use her second ult. Once you use it, there's this rainbow bar on her left side, and it's gonna slowly tick down. Okay, see that? So once it ticks fully down, it's gonna run out. So you want this rainbow bar to be active as much as possible on Zero. So if it's like halfway, you know, don't waste your energy and use it again. But if it's like almost finished, then use it again. And when you have this, it means her first ult will hit 3 times. So normally it only hits 1, but if you have this rainbow bar, it hits 3 times. That's how Zero can core break 3 times. Okay? So once you have this, if you see an enemy, you just 一出警告, you just use your first ult, and it's just gonna kill things. Okay? That's it. So now you can see the bar is almost finished. So I'm gonna use her second ult and make it full again. Okay? And then for LL, what she does is energy. Okay? Just treat her as a very OP in power. You use her ult, bam, energy. Okay? Use her ult again, bam, energy. It's a lot of energy, just use it. And then the boss will die. Just like that. And now to further explain, when you have Umbra Core team and you want to play with Graves, when the boss is on the map, just use her ECB immediately. It will just stay until you need to, so just use it, it's whatever, okay? Then you want to make sure again, Zero is in her second ult. You give LL for more energy, more ult, it's a good thing. And then you just see when Parfait has ult and just use it, and it's gonna buff. You don't have to care about like the numbers or the conditions or whatever, just use it. And then you just 一触警告, you just give energy to Zero, and the boss will die. It's that easy. For Ascended Summer, all you have to do is use everyone's ult, everyone's ECB, whatever, and then use Summer's ult, and then everything just starts to die. It's that easy. From here, okay, there are mobs, you just move her there to kill it, and everything's dead. So let me explain Shin briefly as well. So if you empower Shin, nothing happens. What you need is for this circle to fill up completely and become red. So you can do that fast by using the second ult. Okay, so you see it's really fast now. Okay? And then once it's red, what you want to do is ult. And then this just makes your whole team hit really hard. That's how you play Shin. Summon team has Eve, 11, and Enfer. Now for the easy way to play Summon team is... don't. Millie is one of the newer sinners, so I'll explain her as well. So basically, what you want to do is use her ult on the boss, or the thing you're trying to kill, and it's gonna leave this gold mark, the honey mark, and then she will just keep doing damage to it. And then if there are other mobs, you can use her ECB to either do core break or to just hit everything for some damage. And that's it. Now let me explain Jelena. So there's a difference between S0 and S1. If you have S1 or above, when you start the fight, this is going to happen, okay? She is going to mark one of the sinners standing in here, here, or here with her buff. So here it's Ying Ying, because she will always pick the sinner among these 3 that has the highest attack. So if we come back out, we move Ying Ying here. So now only LL and VB are here. You will see that because Vautour Blue has higher attack than LL, she picks Vautour Blue. Now, this is the unactivated version of the mark. It's not stonks yet. So what you want to do is, you want to activate it. How? You use ult again on someone who has it already, and it becomes shiny. So this is the good one. This is the buff, and then this is good. Now, if you want to kill the boss, what you do is, you use her second ult, which also makes this shiny, but it's like extra powerful shiny. So you use this, and then you just use the buffs to give energy to Vautour Blue or something, and then the boss will disappear. That's how strong Jelena is, okay? Ruo is very easy to play. So if you ult someone, okay, it heals and does damage and an AoE around them, like that, okay? The more interesting way to play Ruo is, you put Immolation Ignition on one of your allies. Here it's on LL, so you can see there's 1 star, there's 2 star. So if you use Ruo's ults twice while this ring is still active, you use it again, it kills them. And then her second ult, her ECB, you mouse over, you can see the ghost of LL, you let go, it revives LL. And it procs a lot of crime brands twice. So Immolation Ignition is one of them. You can see now there are 4 stars in the field. And this is kind of OP because like, each one gives so much energy, look. It's like almost the full bar. So yeah. So let's say you don't have 0 for her core breaking abilities and you need core breaks. You can usually just use Labyrinth in Dark Zone. So she's a B rank, so you should probably have her. So if we give her ult, energy to ult here, you can see each time she spins, she breaks 1 core in the plus shape. It's gonna keep breaking. Now, you can see now she has 1 charge of ult, and if I use it, she'll have no charges of ult, right? But each time Labyrinth fully breaks the last core of an enemy, she gets 1 full charge of ult back. So since she's breaking 2 here, you can see now she has 2 full charges. Okay? Through. So now you can see here, I pause, this enemy has 2 cores. I spun 1 by accident just now, and this one has 3. So what you can usually do with Labyrinth is to position her in a way where she hits multiple enemies. So here, if I spin here, you'll see it hits the boss's hitbox, this here. You'll see it hits the hitbox of this enemy, marked with the kind of red outline, and this enemy as well. So it hits all of them. So what you can do is actually spin here. You can see all 3 of them start losing cores, right? So this one fully breaks, I get a free charge back. I spin again. This one fully breaks, I get another free charge. And all the while, the boss is taking core damage too. So I just give her a bit more energy. And like that, Labyrinth as a single unit can break all of the cores on this map. And then you can just use your other units to do DPS. So a real run might look something like this. So to fully stack OwO's buff, first you have to make sure you move her, and then there's this lion hit. So when you have this lion hit, and you throw out her ult, there's going to be 2 circles flying around the center that you're buffing. This means you're using it correctly, that it's 2 stacks of the buff. If you don't, there's only going to be 1 stack, and you're only going to get half the buff. The lion hit can die after this, it's fine. It just has to be there when you're applying it. And for the attack buff, in her skills, you have to make sure that the ally is standing inside the square. That's the area of where her attack buff is. So here Mantis has it, but Darren doesn't have it. You can change it by either moving the sinner in, so like you move the sinner around inside, or you can just move over to that level as well. For more, at the start of the fight, there are several ways that she can put down her matrix. So if she's standing alone with no one here or here, on the tiles right above or beneath her, she's only going to put the matrix on herself. If I pause it here, you can see she does a little animation like that, and then she gets this set of stuff around her. Okay, that's the matrix. So if you use her second ult, it will expand into a square. So this is what we call the expanded matrix, or sometimes we just call it ult 2 because it's your second ult. And whoever stands inside this gets the buff from her ECB, the physical damage buff. So basically you want to make sure your carries are standing inside this. Now in the scenario where you have someone standing in one of these tiles, what happens is Moore will put one on herself and one on the ally. So you can see here now, Mantis has it as well as Moore. You can see this thing. And then if you use it, you can see there are two squares now. There's one that's around Mantis and one that's around Moore. If you overlap these, the buffs will stack. Okay? So you want to make sure you overlap both of them to get the maximum stonks. So if you wanted Darren to be in here, let's say like here or here, she would benefit from both of them. But if she's standing here, she only benefits from the buff of one. So you want to make sure she's like standing here, 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 or here. Okay? Now the last scenario is if there's someone standing here on top and here on the bottom of Moore. Instead of herself, she will mark these two allies. So you see now the matrix is appearing on Darren and on Mantis. And Moore herself doesn't have it. Again, if you ult 2, it's gonna appear on these two instead. And again, you want to make sure they're overlapping. So as long as your two sinners with the matrix, hopefully your carries, are standing in the 9 tiles around each other, so like let's say Darren's here, Mantis can stand anywhere in these tiles around Darren, and both of them will get double buff. You can think of it easily that way. So let me show you guys one more. In Remnant of the Depth, we always recommend Pine and Jane. They're both A ranks because they're really good at what they do. So Jane, you just put her somewhere and she's gonna be an auto turret, nothing's gonna get past her. You don't have to use her ult, she uses it automatically by herself, so you just leave her there. Okay? Pine is a little different. So what you have to do is you ult, you choose somewhere in front of her in a straight line, and then let's say you choose here. Anything that enters this 3x3 space here is going to automatically take the damage from this orb at once. And it also does 1 core damage. So if we wait for a mob with a core to come out, you see here the snakes are all dying. So you see this mob, it's gonna take the core damage. So this is why they're both really useful. You really can just AFK stages with that. Like, it's ridiculous. See, it just core breaks for you. You don't have to remember to do it. So inversion slash is really good to make sure Pine has lots of energy.